Hi, I'm John Barrett, and this is my partner, Stephen Morehead. And today we'd like to propose a project to build some synchronized audio recorders. And it might not sound interesting right at first, but because there's so many options for recording audio, but our idea mainly targets the film industry. So first thing I'd like to do is just talk about some of the standard methods for recording audio real quick for films. The most obvious is a boom microphone. But the boom microphone requires an operator, and it has a lot of heavy equipment, and it takes a lot of skill because if you move wrong, you can contaminate the audio. The second option is a wireless lavalier, which is like a tie clip that has a wireless transmitter with a big battery pack. So again, you have short battery life, and you have interference and static problems. These are just microphones. Now you have to have media to put the audio data on, and the most common is a digital audio tape, which is actually a real tape, and it takes some large equipment to handle the digital audio tapes. So they're a little bit difficult to use. They have limited channels because you can't have that many tapes, and afterward they require some editing. So what we would like to do is simplify recording audio for film by removing the boom mics, removing the wireless transmitters and all the associated interference. This would simplify the set procedures, and we would like to create some independent recorders because sometimes they take multiple microphones and combine them to put them on a single tape. So if one person makes a mistake, then both audio recordings are contaminated. And also our goal is to simplify editing at the end. So what do I mean when I say time-synchronized audio? Well, first, audio timestamps, or I'm sorry, timestamps would have to be copied into the audio stream, so it's with the data on the disk. And what I mean by synchronized is you have multiple independent audio recording devices that all are synchronized together, and they share exactly the same time base. So when you have all the multiple devices recording, they write the same timestamp to the data, and you can have multiple devices that are all synced together, so you can give them to all the actors, you can hide them in cars, you can put them wherever you need to for that shot. And they're all independent of each other. So why do we need to synchronize them? I mean, what's the big benefit? Well, the first thing is they're totally independent operations. So the audio would be recorded locally, so there's no combining of channels, there's no cross-contamination. So if one microphone fails, all the other recordings are still good and still clean sound. And also, since they're independent on the person or in the car or whatever, you don't need a boom mic, you don't need an operator. There's no interference, there's no range limitation. The second goal, which is probably the biggest, is that the result of all of these independent recorders is synchronized to each other. So while they operate independently, the data itself would be synchronized all together as though they were one recording device. So this would greatly simplify the processing afterward, because with a digital audio tape, you have to fast forward and rewind and shuttle the tape and try to line up all the audios, all the different sources you recorded, which is very time-consuming and difficult. But since the timestamp in these devices is in the audio data, all you have to do is load the audio on the disk and press play, and everything's perfectly lined up and synchronized, and there's minimal editing required after the fact. So a little bit about the tech specs real quick. We're going to try to make them with a small form factor because they're all going to be solid state, so they're going to be power efficient and have pretty high quality audio recordings. The real-time clock is going to be accurate so that there's minimal drift, so you can go for a couple hours of recording without having to resynchronize the devices. Like I said, they're going to be solid state, so we'll either use compact flash or micro SD, so they're really small. There's no wireless transmitters, no interference, and they're going to have USB ports. So what we envision is at the end you would have a dock with a bunch of USB ports, and you would put all of them into the dock and just download all the audio into a final application, and they would get charged and time synchronized all in the dock, and then you can begin your final editing. So, any questions? Thank you.